Hey everybody. So I just got inside from dealing with a windstorm blowing away my child's trampoline. And so I just thought I would talk about the three things that are stupidly inconvenient when you're running your rural brewery. I'm just very annoyed. So these are the top three things that I think are really inconvenient when you have a rural brewery. So number 3, and this isn't a problem this time of year, but a couple months ago, is bugs. So here we have in North Idaho we have these. So here in North Idaho we have these bugs called Western conifer seed bugs, and they're like a stink bug. And every fall, the brewery, the tap room, not so much my house, but I remember in my high school, there were certain rooms that there'd be like hundreds of these friggin' things, and they like will fly around sometimes, but when they land, they barely walk. They don't really move much. They just sit there. But I'm always so paranoid someone's gonna see one and think it's like a big cockroach or something. So every morning in the tap house, I would take the vacuum and go suck up dozens of these things. And I don't really know where they come from exactly, but they're just everywhere. I throw away so many of those stupid things, but if you squish them, they kind of smell like to me it smells kind of like a cooked banana or something. But yeah, I freaking hate those things. And then the number 2 thing that I think is really inconvenient is supply runs and deliveries. So before we got the tap house open, our first 2 years, we didn't really have an in-town presence at all. So our brewery's like 5 miles out of town, and 3 miles of it is dirt road. The last half mile being our driveway is like pretty steep, pretty narrow. Like we cannot get any deliveries from a truck that's bigger than like logging trucks are a little different, but basically they won't bring semis up. So if it's not like a small box truck or a UPS truck or something, most of the drivers won't even attempt. I always tell them, like, I think they'll be fine. We have a pretty big driveway parking lot place to turn around, but they never want to try. So whenever I needed like specialty grains that I'm not getting from Cascadia Malts, I'll order from Country Malt Group, and it comes from Vancouver. But yeah, if it's on a pallet, it's going to cost me $150 shipping, whether I have 4 bags or 14, and they won't come to the house or the brewery. So I have to have them call ahead, tell me when they're going to be here, drive down to the highway, and I'll meet them there's like a landing down there that one of the logging companies owns. That's basically just a big empty gravel lot. And so usually they'll meet me down there, but if not, I have another business in town where I can get stuff sent and they can offload it with a forklift. That's just very inconvenient. And if I'm gonna go get like CO2 tanks, for example, because the CO2 company, gas company, wouldn't deliver up here either. And now they will deliver to the tap house, but it's also inconvenient because I'll have to go down there at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I don't open the tap house on Thursdays until like 2 this time of year. So a lot of times if I'm going to Coeur d'Alene, which is like an hour away, to go to Costco and the chef store and stuff like that, I'll bring my big empty 50-pound CO2 tank and go swap it out. Alright, and then the number 1 thing I find most inconvenient is the weather related. So the snow plowing, and lately this week it's been power outages. So anytime we get a good dump of snow, the county only plows and gravels the county roads. So basically the last half mile of our driveway, it falls on me to plow that entire thing. And I'll use my dad's John Deere now he got a few years ago. It's got a nice heated enclosed cab and a snow blade on it. But still, it takes me a whole morning to plow a half mile of road. my family still has to go to and from school and things, so I gotta take care of that. And then anytime we get any kind of windstorm, we have a power outage, and it's usually not super long. The power went out a few nights ago, and it went out, I think, at like midnight, and it was back on by 10 o'clock the next morning. But it's always a little nerve-wracking. Like, luckily this time, so I have 3 5-barrel tanks. None of them were hooked up to heat, so they were all in like a keeping cold stage. And so it wasn't that big of a deal. If they warm up at all, it's up to like maybe 40. And by the time the power comes back, it's not a big deal. It just cools them back down. But I'll schedule like, oh, I'm gonna brew on Wednesday, and if it's windy at all, it makes me a little nervous, because if I'm like if I'm like mid-boil and it goes out, then I'm kind of screwed. Luckily that hasn't happened yet, but and a lot of times I'm using Kvike yeast, which ferments at 90 to 95 degrees for me. But the power outages and the snow is definitely the most inconvenient part of being where we are. Just curious, like, leave in the comments if you were to start your own brewery where you live, or where you're thinking of starting a brewery, what are some of the little conveniences or annoyances that you think that you would see? Those are always good to keep in mind and try and plan ahead to make things a little easier for you. So the Entrepreneur Academy, so we're a school group, and the goal is to bring people who want to start their own breweries together with people like me that have started their own brewery, other pro brewers. Like, there's a lot of different ways to start a brewery or a cidery or a meadery or whatever. Entre Pro Brewer Academy, we're trying to bring all those kind of people together, and we're just kind of getting started. So pretty soon we'll start doing Q&A calls, and we'll be doing I'll be doing interviews with people in the industry, and that's going to be other brewers, maltsters, cider people. We'll try and get as big of a diverse group as we can, but it's free to join. So go to school.com and search for Entre Pro Brewer Academy. I'll put a link down below, and check it out. Think about joining. Subscribe to the channel. I also have my brewery channel, Two Saints Brewing Company, and that's where you'll see a lot of the videos of just me doing stuff around the area, not always brewing related. Like and subscribe. Check out the community, and I'll see you guys next time.